All right, hey guys, this is David Norrie, and you are here at the right place at the right time. And I'm going to show you 4 ways to turn your personality into profit. So, welcome and thank you for showing up. And I'm going to start with a great story. I'm really comfortable. I'm here in my man room, and every good presentation is going to start with an awesome story. So, there was a young man named Chaim Witz. Chaim Witz. Now, Chaim Witz was a Jewish immigrant who lived in New York City in the 1950s. And he was a great student. He was really good at typing. He eventually became a 6th grade teacher, but he knew he wanted more. He knew he wanted more out of life, and he became extremely successful. Multi-millionaire. He owned restaurants. He wrote a book about being an entrepreneur. He had financial management firms. He owned a professional football team. Extremely successful, this young Jewish immigrant named Chaim Witz. So successful that he ended up making, he's worth $300 million. $300 million. That's a lot of cheese, guys. So he had a saying. It says, people who are the salt of the earth get up and go to work every day in a job they hate. And Chaim didn't want to do that. So what he did was he knew he wanted to do something, so he took his personality and he turned it into a multi-million-dollar business. And you guys know Chaim Witz, right? You know who I'm talking about. In the chat, do you know who Chaim Witz is? Do you know who this multi-successful, super-duper millionaire guy is? I know for a fact that I would say 99% of the people on here know who he is. You just don't know him by Chaim Witz. You know what his real name is that you guys go by? Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons was that little boy who grew up and he knew he wanted to be successful. He came to America with his parents and he knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to be something bigger than himself. But remember what he said. He said, people who are the salt of the earth get up and go to a job every day that they hate. Here's the lesson and why I started off this. Kiss is a billion-dollar brand. Billion with a B. They license over 3,000 products. And here's what Gene Simmons, because he is an entrepreneur at heart, here's what he says. He says, I like being part of a rock and roll band, but what really gets my juices flowing is I like being part of the rock and roll brand. So what he did is, let's face it, guys, Kiss is a legendary band worth $1 billion. They license over 3,000 products, including this one. But are they that great? Would they be great without the makeup? What the makeup is and why this is important to start off this webinar is that's their personality. They might have been a rock and roll band with a couple songs. Who knows where they get to without the makeup? Let me ask you a question. If Kiss was playing in your city right now, and they said, but we're going to play without the makeup, I don't know if you'd want to go see them. Maybe the diehards. But here's the important part. Gene Simmons says that the brand, and remember this, write this down, the brand gives people a reason to remember and choose you. And no matter what you're doing, no matter what you came onto this webinar for to listen to me tonight, I'm guessing that you want to make more money and you profit. You want to have a bigger product, service, whatever it is that you do, whether you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, a startup, or maybe you work for somebody or with somebody, or maybe you're just thinking about it. We have to realize that the top people in the world recognize what charisma, personality, we have to attract people. Richard Branson, have you heard of Richard Branson? He owns or is a part of more than 400 companies. And what he says is very important. He says, if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, it's okay, but you have to be a great storyteller. It's not enough just to have a great product. You have to find a way to let people know about that product. So if we go back to what Gene Simmons was doing, he was letting people know about that product. If I ask you guys what you want to do and why you're here is because you have a passion. You have something here in your heart that you want to promote that drove you to say, I'm going to give up a little bit of my Wednesday evening to listen to this guy and turn my personality into profit. It's all over the place. If you think of people like Mark Cuban, if you think of people like Kylie Jenner, Gary Vee, we know who their names, all billionaires. I don't know if Gary Vee is, but he's close. Millionaires, billionaires, multimillionaires. I don't even know what product really is associated with them for the most part. It's their personality. We see them in the news all the time because it's sound bites, and we know that we can talk to them. We like them. There's something about them. That's why it's so important. If we take Gary Vee and we look at how he got his start, how many people know that? How many people know right now how Gary Vee got his start? His father owned a wine company. He said, Dad, I'm going to take this wine and I'm going to start talking about these wines on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. And his dad's like, you're crazy. But Gary Vee put charisma, personality, and he grew it. And that's why today he's one of the highest paid speakers, is because people want to see him. They want to hear him. This is a band. Gene Simmons knows that he said, if you're a doctor, then you got to go to job and you got to be a doctor. If you're a florist, you got to go and you got to be a florist. You got to have flowers. But he says, what you do with that brand, how you make people remember you. Maybe you specialize in something, being a special doctor with a great bedside manner that everybody goes to. Maybe you're a florist that specializes in weddings and you have a special flair about you. So if you want to know a little bit about me, my name is David Norrie. Some of you guys know me. Some of you might be meeting me for the first time. I have 25 years in multimedia experience. 25 years, radio, TV, newspaper, magazine, social media, public speaking, you name it. And my specialty is really digging people and getting the best out of them. And you might see my shirt here. It says turned on. And this is kind of what I want to do for you guys. I want to take whatever it is that you have and I want to turn it on. Because let's face it, in today's day and age, what are we? We're kind of drones. We're sitting here going, okay, and we're not looking up. We've been hypnotized by technology. And so it's my belief for you personally, in your homes, in your love life, in your relationship with your family, and in your business, that in the next 5 years, even right now, but certainly in the next 5 or 10 years, the more technology creeps into our lives from different places, the more premium we're going to have to put on being a real human. And it's going to be a struggle. Let me tell you something. I don't care what you say. You know that this is an attraction that you have to work on. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about this. Think about the big picture and how all these things are connected. And then I want you to take a big, deep breath. Do it with me right now. Because there's a theme, there's a premise, there's a lesson out of all the lessons that I'm about to give you tonight. And again, I thank you for being here. But of all the lessons, there's going to be a repetitive theme. And it's not a genie in a bottle. It's not a big aha moment. It's just you're right. In order to turn your personality into profit, in order to do whatever you want and really be successful, there's two things that I've researched, and in my 25 years, and especially in the last 5 or 10, in every single Forbes magazine, Harvard Business Journal, Business Insider, it's two things: authentic and honest. Write that down: authentic and honest. So The reason why I told you to take a deep breath is because there's nothing that you can't do. I'm just going to remind you, and I've been doing this in my course now, like I said, for 7 years, turning the volume up on people's personalities, teaching them in an intimate atmosphere, just like we are now, the intricacies of really how to put their personality behind their passion. Let me ask you a question. How many of you guys went to school? Everybody, right? You went to school and you were taught math. You went to school and you were taught science. You went to school and you were taught history. When were you really taught how to develop your personality, interact with people, and really use who you are inside to your advantage? I'm guessing never. I'm guessing never. I have a 4-year degree that's sitting in this closet right over here collecting dust. Everything that I have, everything that I've built, my business, my career, going down even to my wife, has not come from what I really know, but who I know. And this is going to lead us into the first thing. It's about networking. Everything, the biggest things in life, not what you know, but who you know. Yes, you have to read and write, you have to learn this stuff, but you have to know people, even on a small level, on a tiny level. Get this. I was a spin instructor because I love music, as you can see, right? So I was a spin instructor, and the guy in my class, I used to saw this big, huge 300-pound football-looking player in my class. And he took my class all the time because he loved my music. He loved my personality. So I go up and I talk to him. That guy was an NFL player. We become best friends. He helps me, because I was a writer, to get a job as an NFL writer. He starts a magazine and helps me to get an interview, or actually assigns me with a girl who won a fitness competition. She is my wife now. Do you see, when you know people, how things happen? So this is why I feel like I can talk to you guys about this. Here's a little side note. I've been a finalist on 3 different reality shows. 3 different reality shows. Not really proud of it. Like, I don't even really, I swear to God, other than the first episode of The Real World, hand to my heart, I've never even watched another reality show. But for some reason, I ended up on these because I had friends that said, Dave, they're casting for this show. You got a great personality. Go try out. So what does this matter to you? The reason why they cast people on a reality show is because they want people that other people will watch. They want people that they don't have to coach to have a good personality. So I can give you that. Now, what is it going to mean to you? Let me tell you what it means. Warren Buffett, billionaire, came out last week in an interview. You can look it up. And he said, I can tell you one thing that will increase your worth by 50%. Now, Warren didn't say, I can tell you one thing that's going to help you out a little bit. I can tell you one thing that's going to make you a few extra bucks. I can tell you one thing that's going to, get you 10 grand. He said, I can tell you one thing that's going to increase your net worth by 50%, by half. And you know what it was? To learn how to communicate, to speak, to write, to use your personality. It's that important. Here's another fact. The Harvard Business Journal had an article where it said a person of average extrovert, an average extrovert, average, middle of the road extrovert, will make $600,000 more over the course of their career than somebody who is in the lower 20% of being an extrovert. And that just totally screamed at me. Totally screamed at me. So ask yourself this. Here, we'll do a little participation. Let's get you guys started. Where are you right now? In terms of being an extrovert, think about your friends, who you are, the people you work with, and think, if you had to rate yourself on a scale of everybody that you know, where do you fall in that scale? Are you in the top 90% of your friends, or in the lower 10%, or are you average? Think about that. Because no matter where you are, by listening to this, by improving your personality, imagine what you can do for the bottom line to grow your personality, to be a better communicator, speaker, writer, friend, what you're going to do. Take a deep breath again, because it's all going to come back to being genuine, honest. It's inside of you. It's here. All of you have it. I'm just going to tell you some secrets on how to pull it out. Okay? That's the big picture. So, just about 3 days ago, my wife and I are driving in the car. And part of my job is I'm a student of human interaction and just what's going on. That's why I call it turned on, because I'm alert. Simply by picking my head up and looking, I'm bringing in things. Because if not, I'm like this. And I'm like, I'm not paying attention. So I look at the car in front of me and I see a bumper sticker. Get this, a bumper sticker. And it says, rise up, wise up, eyes up. And I look at my wife and I'm like, that's awesome. That sounds like something I would say. Like, I wish I had thought of that. Hey, babe, do me a favor, Google that. Because if it's not a bumper sticker, it's from somewhere. Can you Google that? So I'm driving. Wife's on her phone Googling it. And she goes, hey, Dave, this is from the play Hamilton. How many of you guys know Hamilton? It's like the most phenomenal play that ever was. It's the leading thing on Broadway. So this is a song. So I'm going to steal, permit me to steal this, rise up, wise up, and eyes up to give you guys a message as we start this webinar, and I give you some really good value. Rise up. Simple. Get your butt out of bed every day with intention. Again, don't get sucked into the matrix of being a drone. If you're in a job you don't like, if you're doing something you don't want to do, but you have a dream, wake up and plant your butt in a situation where you're excited. For the better part of the last 4 years, my wife and I have done a show twice a week called Rise with Intention. Many of you guys are on it, okay? Why we do it at 7 o'clock in the morning is because I want people to get this information and take it and run with it. So many webinars, so many things are like tonight, and you sit on it, you're like, oh, it was so good. And you wake up, and again, you're not rising with intention. So that's the first thing. The second thing is wise up. Wise up. Wise up. Meaning, what's going on? Get your head out of your phone and figure out, what do I see? What do people need? Where can I fill a need? Where can I succeed? Maybe you do a little bit of research. Maybe you find out what's trending, what's coming up. So you're going to rise with intention, you're going to wise up, and the last part is the easiest, and it's very self-explanatory. Eyes up. Not down. I want you to, this week, look around. My wife and I were at dinner last week, and she elbows me, and she goes, Dave, look over there. And it was a family of 4. Husband, wife, child on an iPad, other child on an iPad. 4 people at dinner for 45 minutes not talking to one another. Keep your eyes up. There's time for this. I love this phone. It's very valuable. We're going to get into this a little bit. Rise up, wise up, eyes up. Get up every morning, rise with intention. So there's 4 things. How are we doing? We doing good so far? 4 things. First thing is we're going to talk about networking. Now, think about this. Right now, close your eyes. Anybody here in this room that I'm talking to on this webinar, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think for me. I'm going to give you a second. Think back to the networking event that you went to, whether it was one of those ones where it's a meetup or something that was labeled a networking event. And then what kind of emotions did that networking event bring? Were you excited beforehand? Were you excited while you were there? Were you excited afterward? For me, the most thing that I've experienced is everybody's there for their 2-minute elevator speech. Everybody goes there and they're so nervous about telling their story. Who goes there to listen? My biggest hack for you guys to really network is to network in the real world. Now, I can also talk about networking here on social media, but it's been my observation that in the last 5 years that we've used social media as a crutch and it's not working. I want you guys, there's a time and a place for networking. Absolutely, you can network with the world on social media. But I want to get back to one thing. Write this down. Ground game. Take your pen out, ground game. Okay? You got to have a good ground game. I want you guys to think fun and intentional. And the ground game starts before you leave your house. That's the key. It starts with your mindset. It starts with your mindset because there's a pattern interrupt. How many people have watched The Matrix and you know the premise behind it? We're living it. Again, you go out and here's your thing. Everybody's got their head down. Look at people in line. They immediately take out their phone in the bank. If I'm at a doctor's office and I'm looking around, everybody immediately takes out their phone. Turn on. And you gotta be able to do a pattern interrupt. Meaning, if you're locked in a pattern, how are you gonna access somebody else if you're locked in your own little world? If you're saying, I can never meet people, I don't meet the right people, I don't hang out, I don't know where to go, because you're doing this 24/7. Or maybe you're just going out and you're not doing that, but you haven't got in the right frame of mind. You haven't got in the right frame of mind. How are you going to interrupt somebody else's routine if you're not willing to interrupt your own? Because a lot of people are structured, they live a disciplined life, but we have to be willing to do different things, go different places. And the biggest thing is, here it is, be an initiator. Write down here in the comment section, how many of you are initiators? Meaning you're willing to do something and initiate the conversation. Okay? We're all on cruise control. We're all going through the motions. But if you're woke up, if you're turned on, you're initiating things. You're going to somewhere, you're leaving your house going, I'm going to feel good, look good, and I'm going to go out there with my head up and be open to the world. It's almost like you have a sign above your head that says open for business. If you're doing this all the time, or if you're in a bad mood, or you just go out and you're throwing on some clothes and you're not really caring about how you look, basically you're telling yourself inside, what? Closed. I'm closed today. You never know. Come here. Come closer for this. You never know who the next person that you're going to meet is that's going to absolutely change your life. That's how important networking is to your career, to your profit. You never know who's going to change your life. People talk about income producing activities and they go, oh, networking is not an income producing activity. I don't know. You meet people every day that are going to change your life. We don't hand over a resume anymore, really. The good jobs don't hit the newspapers. That's in the 70s and 80s. The good jobs, the opportunities are by word of mouth. I just had a friend that got a $250,000 job, and he said, you know how I got it? I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the resume. I networked myself off. I looked at who I knew. And the only way to do this, we're going to have a couple of recurring themes, is be authentic, be real, and be confident. And that's what I'm going to do for you tonight. Okay, so you have to be an initiator. You have to interrupt things. My best story about this is when you talk to people, don't talk to them like you are a robot. You have to find some personality in you. If you feel like you don't have a great personality, come to me. Come to me. I'm going to tell you about an offer that I'm going to give you. I saw a guy while I was waiting for food, and he had his doctor scrubs on. And he had this big long name with like 17 vowels in it. Do you guys know what that means? If someone has 17 letters and like 14 are vowels, it's a good sign that they're Greek. And I can say this because my wife's on here and she's Greek, and I've learned that. A lot of vowel letters, a lot of long names. So I couldn't even read his name, I'm being honest. But I said, I got to talk to this guy while I'm waiting for my food. Now I had two different ways to do it in my head. Hey, how are you? Are you Greek? That's one way. Not my way. My way is I'm going to take a risk. Risk, reward. I'm going to be an initiator. Risk, reward. I'm going to come on tune. I'm going to come out. Hey, man. I know a Greek name when I see one. And the guy goes like this. Yeah. We become friends like instantly. Instantly. It's because not what I said, but how I said it. I want you guys to get in that right headspace. I want you guys to think of the risk reward. No risk, no reward. Nobody cares if you're like, hey, what about this? Are you Greek? Yeah. Show some enthusiasm. Be the one person in that coffee shop, the one person in that doctor's office, the one person waiting for your food that's just alive and not caring what anybody else says, okay? Because you never know who's going to change your life. So the second big thing I'm going to tell you about in your networking, outside the bubble, outside of I'm going to a networking group so I can hear another person tell me their 2-minute elevator speech. This is a difficult one. Write it down. Develop the skill of being, this is going to sound kind of difficult. I don't know how to tell you this. The only way I know how to say it is be a polite eavesdropper. Some of you guys are like, ooh, I don't like interrupting people. I don't like asking people that are not asking me stuff. Be a polite eavesdropper. I was at a coffee shop yesterday and I'm working and I hear this lady out of the corner of my ear and I just hear little parts of her conversation. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm like, that sounds like somebody I want to talk to or I can get to know. I want to network with this person. And I start to go in my head, how do I jump in without being rude? So here's a couple rules. Manners, good old-fashioned manners go a long way. Verbiage, how you sound, body language, facial expression, okay? If you come at it the right way and risk reward, in this case, it paid off. The person got up to go get a cup of coffee. I politely said, what's going on today? What are you guys working on? Boom. We start talking. We have all this in common. Boom, boom, boom. I'm networking. Networking, here's the key. I quickly realized that this is not somebody that I have as much as common in as my wife does. So I start selling my wife and what she does for a living and her expertise to this person and their business. And all of a sudden, what I've done is I've grown my value. I've grown my profit margin because I'm valuable to other people. And just by being turned on, I was able to do that as a polite eavesdropper. It doesn't always work out that way. I'm going to tell you why. I remember one time I heard some lady talking about Tom Brady. And I'm a former sports writer. And I heard Tom Brady and I said, oh my God. And I butted in her conversation and man, was she upset. She even looked at me and said, oh. But I went back to manners, verbiage, and body language. And I said, I'm so sorry for interrupting you, but I have the most amazing story about Tom Brady because I was a sports writer. And it took me a second, but I broke her down. And by the end of that conversation, she thanked me. She thanked me for interrupting her. So I want you guys to realize that a couple of things. You have to be an initiator. You have to be a polite eavesdropper and take that risk reward. Okay? If you saw me now online right now, you'd see my personality. You know that the brightness of a personality can be like the brightness of this room. And that's what I want you to find in your networking. It's not so much about going somewhere and giving your 2-minute elevator speech. It's about always being turned on and bright. And for all you guys that are extroverts, let me tell you this. This is so important. I have a sprint course coming up, and I'm going to have some people on this sprint course, special guest, a mastermind. And I'm going to let you in on a gem that this guy that I'm going to have on told me. And I'm going to tell you this tonight. I was talking to him about extroverts and introverts and how I'm going to do this class. And he said this, and let this sink in. It made a ton of sense to me. He said, you know, Dave, extroverts are not that much different than introverts. It's just that they listen to their impulses more. Extroverts aren't that much different than introverts. It's just they listen to their impulses more. And I said, whoa, dude, you're totally right. You got to take chances. You got to have risk reward. I'm so impulsive that my wife freaks out. I'm like, babe, put on this hat quick. Let's do this. And she's like, oh. And I've trained her to kind of be more impulsive. She's been living with me, and I took someone who she'll admit she was an introvert, and I've helped her to be an extrovert because I've told her to work on that. And we're going to do that in my sprint course, okay? So don't worry. That's the first part. It's a networking from a totally different perspective. I'm the only one really teaching this, guys. You can take your public speaking course in your sophomore year of college where you do, your persuasive speech. You can take things about, your Tony Robbins course about how to get right with yourself. You can take all these things, but who's teaching you how to really bring out your personality, how to really connect? I feel like I'm the only one that's doing this on a level that's intimate and we're getting somewhere. And I'm going to tell you some stories. 3 more quick things, okay? The second big thing is how to maximize your likability in person and online. Would you agree that being likable pays off? It's really the whole premise of this webinar, turning your personality into profit. So if you don't agree that being likable pays off financially, then I don't know why you're here. Of course it does. Remember when you picked teams in school, in elementary school, and there was captains? Who'd you pick first? Johnny, that's my boy. Come on over here, brother. You're first one up. Johnny might not have been the best, but that was your boy. You're picking him, okay? I know some people don't want to hear that, but still happens in the real world. Last time a great job opened up at your company or that you knew, did it hit the papers? No. Maybe technically because they had to. Somebody had that job before it ever came open because we hear things. Write this down. I got this from an article. Write this down too. Opportunities don't float down from the sky. They're attached to people. Opportunities don't float down from the sky. They're attached to people. And now more than ever, that's why we got a network. That's why we must be liked. So the question is, how do we know if we're liked? I have a test for you. You want to know what that test is? Here's the thing. You've done the test. I'm 99% sure you've done the test. You know why? Caller ID. Caller ID. There's certain people that when you see their name on your phone, you're answering it. There's certain people when you see their name on your phone, voicemail. Just being real, bro. Just being real. That's my litmus test. I have people that I rarely talk to, and that phone rings and I see them, even if I'm busy and I can't do it or I don't want to do it, or I'm just like, this person, they're there for me. I like them, and I know they don't waste my time. So even though I'm busy, I'm going to take the call. If you dialed 10 people's random phone number right now on here, how many would answer? We got to be liked. So are you liked? It's a tough question. We're human beings. We're honest. We're real. We're vulnerable. We all want to be liked. Please. No one wants their feelings hurt. So in my socially speaking class, I have a personality profile. I have a 15-question personality profile that I have people send out to someone who they're friends with, someone who's at their job, and someone who is in their family, not their spouse. And what I have them do is I have them ask people these 15 questions, and I say, look, you got to give me a real answer because I'm trying to find out how I show up in the world. How do people see me? And it gives us a great start and a good indication. Everybody that takes my class gets that, and that's our starting point. How do you see yourself? How does the world see you? It's very important. My man 50 Cent, anybody know 50 Cent? Internationally known, locally respected. Bam. Internationally known, locally respected. Dale Carnegie, a little bit older than 50 Cent. Dale Carnegie's book. Who's read it? What's it called? What's it called? How to influence people and how to win friends and influence people. 6 ways. I'm just going to remind you of them. Genuinely interested in other people. Smile. Remember someone's name. It's the sweetest sound. Be a good listener. Encourage people to talk about their interests and make them feel important. Duh. When I name those things, everybody goes, yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Why aren't we doing them? Why aren't we doing those simple things? If you've read the book, you know it. Why aren't you doing it? I know why you're not doing it. It's because we're not practicing. Because you're not in a real environment, because we didn't go like we went to math class and we went to science class. We didn't spend 12 years on how to communicate. Reading a book is nice. I will help you practice. You will leave my course being a better listener. You will leave my course using body language. You will leave my course smiling better than you've ever smiled in your life before. And you will make other people feel important because I am teaching this. I am teaching this. I have trained with people, not these people, but I've trained with people who train them and are with them on the same level. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because I'm going to give you an aha moment right now on how to be liked. Get your pens ready. And I got this from years and years of training with people who are training with Oprah, people who are training with Lewis Howes, people that are training with Lisa Nichols and Tony Robbins. I've got this from them, and I resisted it. And I'm like, over and over, the message kept coming back, and kept coming back until I said, here it is. 2 things, write them down. First thing, how to make yourself more likable. Breathe confidence into other people. Breathe confidence into other people. Let me get inside your heads. We're all right here. You guys are on my webinar. You're on my webinar right now because you're looking to achieve. You're looking to turn your personality into profit. That's why you're here. I know it. And let's be real. Sometimes having confidence in yourself is a full-time job. It's tough being your own cheerleader day after day. Remember, we said, rise up, getting up and saying, today I'm going to do it. It's tough every day. Okay? If somebody else pumps you up and they're doing it in a genuine and honest way, they've increased the likability for you and you for them. We love that. And it's a simple thing you can do. And I want to do that for you. Breathe confidence in other people. People like people who believe in them sincerely, honestly, and genuinely. That's number 1. The second one, be fun / don't take yourself too seriously. Be fun / don't take yourself too seriously. And this goes back to, my friend, this goes back to that thing we were talking about. Risk, reward, risk, reward, risk, reward. Be fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. You got to risk some stuff. If not, your freaking vanilla ice cream, your elevator music. I'm going to bring you out of your shell one way or another. I'm going to make you work. If you take my course, I'm going to make you work in front of other people. It's going to be uncomfortable. If you're low on the introvert scale, I'm going to bring you up. If you're in the middle, I'm going to bring you up. I guarantee it. Be fun. Take risks. I'm not saying get drunk like Will Ferrell in Old School and, run naked through the, go streaking in the quad or anything. But, how many of you guys know my friend Lori Harder? Beautiful girl, super duper intelligent, huge heart, really fun, never really takes herself too seriously when it comes to fun. Perfect example. Here's the other example. I like to collect little toys. You saw my Gene Simmons? How about this guy? Who's that? This is my golden rule. Be Ferris. Be Ferris. Don't be Cameron. What do you want to do when it comes down to being fun? Ferris? Cameron. He says, hey Cameron, it's not that you're going to die. It's that you just don't have anything fun to do. Be fun. Okay? Authentic. It's all over the internet. It's in every self-help book. It's everywhere. Be authentic. Be authentic. Hey, be authentic. Be authentic. You know what you got to do, man? Be authentic. How? How do you be authentic? You guys know it. Every entrepreneurial magazine that you'll read, every article in those magazines I told you about, Forbes, and all those things, be authentic. How? Here's what I'm going to tell you. It's going to sound contradictory. It's going to sound contradictory, but think about it. Trust me. I've seen it. I know it. I teach it. Being authentic, you must practice being human. I know it sounds awful. We're supposed to come out of the womb crying and authentic. Wow, but I'm real. But somewhere along the way, we fall into the matrix again. We fall into our phones. I'm going to copy and paste this and not think. I'm going to copy your look. I'm going to copy what you're saying. And I'm going to copy your social media. Model people, okay, don't copy them. You have to practice being authentic by practicing facial expressions, even if they're ugly, okay? You gotta express through your face. In my class, I talk about this box. Right now, guys, wake up. Take your hands like this and put them in front of you. Put them in front of you like this. This is your box. How many times a week are you in your box from the chest up? If you're on Zoom calls, if you're on your phone through a video chat, you're in your box. So you have this part of your body to work with. You have to come in. You have to come out. You have to really exaggerate sometimes your facial expressions. Here I am. I'm authentic. I'm real. Trust me. It feels like a catch-22. You're telling me I have to practice smiling. I have to practice body language. And I have to practice listening. And that's authentic? Yeah, you do. I'll show you. The last thing on this one is leave people wanting more. How to be more likable. Leave them wanting more. And I call this the boxer mentality. Stick and move. Stick, stick, stick. I'm going to talk to you. Here's what I have to say. But now I'm going to listen. Talk, talk, listen, listen. Talk, talk, listen, listen. Respect people's time. We are in a fast-moving society. We have to respect people's time. If not, we come off like we're trying to sell them something, and we come off desperate. We always want to leave them wanting more. Dude, that guy Gene Simmons was cool. I want to know more about him. I'm going to look him up. I didn't tell you his whole life story, but you're going to want to look this guy up and some of the things he has to say about being an entrepreneur. I left you wanting more. Tonight, I want to end this in a couple minutes because I want to leave you wanting more. That's the key. A balancing conversation. All the experts will tell you, talking is maybe the most overrated part of communication. There's got to be a balance, and it's got to be listening, and you got to respect people's time. The last thing is go the extra mile. Go the extra mile. I have a real estate agent that sends my daughter a birthday card every year with $5. And here's the bad part. We never used him except to rent houses. We moved before he could sell us a house, and we're like, we felt terrible. What does he do? Does he give up and say, they moved? Stop sending them birthday cards. Screw them. I'll never get a sale from them. They move halfway across the country. No. Still giving us birthday cards. Why? Because he knows that his personality and caring will turn into a profit down the road. He knows that Angelique and I know highly motivated, high financial thermostat people. And we know if they're moving to Arizona, who are we going to tell them to use? Jay Colton, the best real estate agent in Arizona. And that gets into our next thing. What makes people buy? Guys, there's 15 minutes left in this webinar. And I'm going to tell you what makes people buy. Okay, but what I want you to do is I want you to go to sociallyspeaking.com/sprint. That's the new course. Sociallyspeaking.com/sprint. You can open up another window. You can go there now, because typically it's an 8-week course for $1,000. And I'm doing a sprint, a New Year sprint. It's going to be only $189 for 4 weeks. Okay. And as I talked to my friend tonight, I said, I don't know how I'm going to make money on this, to be honest with you. Okay. Because it really is a bargain. 4 weeks of interactive live coaching like this, 1 hour each time for $189 to teach you how to use your personality better and practice these things in a live environment with everybody on the screen. And if you do it in the next 15 minutes, by the time I finish this, I'm having a mastermind, an extra mastermind, where I'm bringing in 3 experts in different categories that you're going to love. They're going to speak specifically on how to turn your personality and your program into profit. And for anybody who goes in the next 15 minutes and signs up, they're going to get that included. Okay? 15 minutes. So if you want to help people buy, it's buying and filling the right need at the right time. Now, this might seem kind of weird. You just told us, well, I want you to go sign up. Look, I can't force anybody to sign up, and you can't force anybody to buy your product. You can't. You can't force anybody. So where does your personality come into this play? How does it figure into it? Write this down. Write this down. This is a nugget that I'm going to give Chris Harder, my mentor, credit for, but he said it and it's true, and it feeds right into Socially Speaking. Write it down. It's not your job to force people to buy. It is your job to be memorable enough that when the time is right, you are the one they call. It's not your job. You can't force people to buy. I know we'd love that. It's your job to have a great big personality, to have the heart, to have the authenticity and the honesty, and to go above and beyond when you serve them, that when they say, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this, that's the person. Susie is the person that does that. James is the one that does that. David is the one that does that. That's how your personality turns into profits. Honest, vulnerable, and then you repeat your message. One business magazine recently said some of the most authentic people have great products, but they are stuck because no one ever intervened in their personality. Some of the greatest people have great products, but they are stuck because nobody ever taught them how to use their personality to finish it off and to really be memorable. So we're going to talk about trust and conviction with the right service of product and personality. Product and personality. Going back to what Richard Branson said, you could have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to tell a great story about it and you're not a likable person, not going to do good. I had a guy that took my class about a year ago, and he's a carpenter. Okay, he's a carpenter, and he builds kitchens, and he does amazing work. And he took my class, and he's incorporating his personality into his carpentry, because now, in addition to his website, he has a spot on there where he's going to have his favorite recipes. So, hey, I can build your kitchen, and just for fun, so you know me, like me, I'm going to be working in your house. Here's a little video of my favorite recipes. Here's how I do it. Everything, no matter who you are. If you're a doctor, you need a good bedside manner. If you're a personal trainer, people got to like you. They're going to spend 3 or 4 hours a week with you. They got to like you. Publix. Anybody know Publix? It's a grocery store in South Florida. If you go up to a guy who's in Publix and he's doing the shelves and he's stocking the shelves, and you say, hey, where are the green beans? Stops what he's doing, walks you over to the aisle and points to them. He doesn't just go, I think they're on aisle 7. No. Little thing, customer service, repeat customer. Nordstrom. When you buy something at Nordstrom, it's not like, hey, here you go. They take it, they walk around the counter, and they hand it to you personally. Personal touch, personality keeps people coming back. It's the little things in life that will make you more money. If you're going to do it online, you know what you can do? Make people buy testimonials. Don't brag. Here's their words. This is who I helped. This is what I did for them. This is what they think of me. Other people in your situation chose me because of this. Your personality can be turned into profit if we look at the sneaker market. Sneakers. Why do people buy Air Jordans? They're not comfortable. I own a pair. They're not. They're just not. Michael Jordan has a hell of a smile, though. A hell of a smile. Steph Curry, he's got his own brand because he's true to his faith. People of faith go, that guy, I like his personality. I like the way that he brings his faith to his game. I'm going to buy the Steph Curry sneakers. If you look right here, guys, Mick Jagger, not a great singer. Not. His voice wasn't the best ever. But people fawned over him because he had charisma. He had a personality. Look at this. These 2 records. Chicago. Okay? I liked Chicago a little bit until I knew their story. I watched the documentary on Chicago, and I got to know them and their backstory. The next day, I was on eBay. I needed some Chicago albums. That's the last part of this equation in your personality. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to be remembered? We talked about it at the beginning. Remember what I said? Be vulnerable, be honest, be fun. I saw all those things in Chicago, and I felt like I knew them. And the music got sweeter. That's your aha moment here. The music that I loved was sweeter when I knew the people and the personality behind the music. It sounds better. You probably know that too if you've went to a concert. Like, I like that guy, but I saw him in concert. Now I love him. Take that same concept into your business. Okay? So here's the last thing. The last thing, and I want you to go, if you haven't now, remember, it's sociallyspeaking.com/sprint, SPRINT. You got about 5 minutes at $189 price to get the 4 weeks. At the middle of January, we're going to start it 4 weeks in a row, and then you're going to get the extra master class, okay? If you sign up by the time of the end of this class is over. So we're standing out in a crowd. How do you do that? Well, image is everything. That's what Andre Agassi used to say. You have to dress for success and confidence. Those could be something different for every person. You have to dress for success and confidence. What dressing right does, because I think this is a duh moment, but let me turn up the volume for you. Dressing right is your calling card. It breaks down the initial wall. It's a validation of who you are. Case in point, I was going to a networking event, and I remember asking my wife, I said, oh, Ange, I don't know what to wear to this thing. I'm just going to go casual. Or I have that three-piece suit. What do I do? What do I do? Let me ask you guys a question. Is it better to take a chance of being overdressed or underdressed? I think overdress is always a better risk. So I wear the three-piece suit to this place, and I say, I'm just going to do it. Time comes to network after the speakers go. I have people in line that I don't know, and they come up to me and like, I just had to come over and meet you because you're the best dressed person here, and I figure you're important. Humbling, flattering, but true. Guys, tailor a suit. There's nothing worse than a suit that's not tailored. Spend the extra money on it, okay? Now, I'll tell you a story about that. I had a $1,300 suit that I had made for me. I mean, it fit me like a glove, and the suit got a lot of love. It was a great investment. I wore it on stage, got a lot of love. The next time came around, I bought a suit for $300, had it tailored for an extra $75, just as much love for that suit. It's not about the dollar amount. It's not about the designer. How does it fit you? Have it tailored, okay? Women, you know, I think there's a few things that are universal. Great shoes. Great. If you don't have a good shoe game, and I'm not trying to be superficial, I'm being honest. Shoes will get you in the door. Shoes will get you recognized. Guys or girls, if you don't up your shoe game, you're not going to turn your personality into profit. Shoes can be part of your personality. Invest in them. Guys, a great watch. Ladies, a great handbag. Okay? But I'm not here to tell you how to dress. I'm here to say it's important. And I'm here to say that there are services now online, stylists, that you can hire for as low as $35 a month, that you'll have a personal stylist that will help you out with your look. You got to have a strong game. There's Wish.me, W-I-S-H.me, Trunk Club, Allume, A-L-L-U-M-E.co. These are all online. Now, some of them want to send you a box of clothes and have it, or some of them just work with what you have, okay? The second part of really what you do to stand out is give people massive, massive value and do it quick, online and in person. I was a sports writer. I was a journalist. Headline first. This is what I do big time in my socially speaking class. I had a girl take my class, and she was in data. And she wanted to, you know, all about numbers and statistics. And she wanted to be really good on video. And so we work with her mannerisms. We work with getting her point out there in the headline first. And she came back after we were done with our class, and she goes, I just got this job, and they're sending me to Paris. And do you know what, David? She said, when I did the video part, they said, wow, you already know you're really good on video, and that's part of the reason why we really liked you. But it helps. You get the headlines out there first. People don't have time to hear about what you were wearing or what your lunch was like, or you're just waiting for people. We're a very fast-paced society. So I want you to give them massive value. In the first 8 seconds, give them something to pull them in. Give them something real honest that you research, that you know, and tell them that, and then work your way backward. Speed counts. Impress people with speed. Your personality needs speed. So many people say, I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back to you tomorrow. You never hear from them. Hey, let's get together for lunch. Yeah, let's get together for lunch. That'd be awesome. You never hear from them. Maybe you're not getting the prospect of the sale, but you're connecting people because you're speedy. Hey, my neighbor needs a good carpenter. I know this guy, Dave, who's an excellent carpenter. Within 30 seconds, I got you the information on email. That's part of my personality, believe it or not. It's a skill, but it's part. Dave is a guy who gives me results with speed. I over deliver. And if I do that, there's a 1,000% chance that my net worth increases. Because I'm smiling, I'm happy, and I deliver with speed to impress. And the last thing is loyalty. I'm very, 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 very impressed with loyalty. And I think most people are. And I think this is a huge gap with your personality today. What happens is we're all trying. Remember, we're waking up in the morning and we want to get ahead and we want to get ahead. Can that person help me? Can you help me? If you don't help me, you'll never see me again. You didn't buy from me, you'll never see me again. I contacted you, I prospected you, you didn't want to do it, you'll never hear from me again. Whoa, long game. Long game like my realtor. It's a card for my daughter once a year. Loyalty. Guaranteed, I would never, ever recommend any other realtor than this man, Jay Colton. Loyalty. Remember who supports you and support them back. Online, we're wrapping this up. Online, if somebody supports you in your business, if somebody comments on your stuff, comment back. Support those people who support you. It's very hard to get your tribe, to get your team. Don't let them go. Be the person with the personality that is feeding people, that is loyal to people, that is acting with speed, and watch the money come back to you in ways that you didn't know. Watch it pay off, but it doesn't come quickly. It might take a couple of years. If Jay the realtor gets a lead from us in a year for $1 million house, think about what he'll make. What do realtors make? Like 7, 8, 10%? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be probably 6 figures. Most people are looking for home runs. They're looking for a genie in a bottle, and that's not reality. I want to help you hone your skills, your body language. I want to help you hone your skills, your smile. I want to help you hone your story and how you tell it. I want to help you turn your personality into profit so you can network with people and you can meet the people who are going to get you to the next level. Okay? They're going to get you to the next level. I help people shed the self-doubt in their head, and I help people stand out and speak and act with confidence. That's what I do. That's what I do. My friends, I've been doing this for 7 years. I don't do it for the money. I make money, but I like money and I want to make profit, but I do it because here, I'm super passionate about it. I live as a student of human communication. When I go outside, I'm always looking and watching, and I'm always sending my friends and my clients in my class, people that take my class, I'm sending them notes. This is what I see. This is what you should do. How are things going? How can we help? There is a 4-week sprint. 4 weeks. You're not going to get training like that for $189. That's not a lot of money. Give yourself an early Christmas present. Gift it to someone you know who needs it. And then if you do it now, you're going to get the extra masterclass with 3 people that are going to help you tell your story. They're going to help you find the logical solutions. There's going to be a logical data component. And then there's going to be a how to show up bigger in person and on video. That's the masterclass with 3 experts. So it's 4 classes and then the 5th one. So it's really 5 weeks of training for $189. That is cheap. I don't even know if I'm going to break even, to tell you the truth. And I'm not saying that to sell you. I'm saying that that's for real. Socially Speaking, this is my Post-it note that I bought, sociallyspeaking.com/sprint. Remember these things. People who are the salt of the earth get up and go to a job they hate because they're not working on their personalities. You're not being taught this in high school or college, and people are assuming that you should know. No, there's a skill set. The brand gives people a reason to remember and choose you. The brand, Gene Simmons said this, gives people a reason to remember and choose you. Chris Harder, you are not responsible for making them buy. You're responsible for being memorable enough that when the time comes, they call on you. So I see some of you guys have been on there. I see some people have been signing up. Some people are on the 4-week group. I really love it. I want you guys to do this. I'll give you another 30 seconds. I'll tell you what, because my wife was texting me, she said a couple of people are trying, and to give them more time, she says, David, give them more time. Hold on. They're trying. They're getting on. They're trying. Okay, so what I'll do is, all right, I don't want to rush you. So it's 9 o'clock. I went for exactly an hour. It's 9 o'clock here, Central Time. What I'll do is it's actually 9:06. So at 10:36, another 30 minutes. 9:36 Central Time. 7:36, right? Pacific Time. That's when I'll cut it off for the extra class. So $189 for 4 weeks of interactive training, live interactive training and coaching. Going a lot deeper on this with individual training, and then the extra master class. So that's 5 weeks for $189. Okay? You'll have 30 minutes. sociallyspeaking.com/sprint. Guys, it's going to happen. It is time to get turned on. I promise you, I will move the needle in your life, in your business, in your home, in your relationships. That's what I'll do. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, all you people that have signed up. I see you. Thank you, all the people that are texting me for signing up. I hope to see a bunch of you in there. It's going to be awesome. Have a great, wonderful night, and get ready to be turned on.